Take your place in the Coaching Lounge. Be inspired by discussions with motivational guests, compelling speakers, key people of influence, and models of success. Learn unique processes, strategies, and tips that will transform your life. Tune into previous episodes on www.thecoachinglounge.co.uk. Like our page on Facebook via The Coaching Lounge. Follow us on Twitter @Satellite Coach. Thank you for joining your host, Rebecca Gordon, in The Coaching Lounge. Tune in, relax, engage, and transform your life now. Greetings. My name is Rebecca Gordon and I'm your host once again for the last time in 2015 in The Coaching Lounge. Before I go any further, I just want to say a massive thank you to all the guests who have sat with me in the Coaching Lounge for 2015. I've had amazing guests who have not hesitated to share their valuable time and contribute a wealth of information, knowledge and awareness to support us on our journey in this life at this time. So thank you very much. I've interviewed a lot of guests, so there are so many names to mention. If you want to look back through the recordings, which you can access from SoundCloud or from my website. So there are in fact some additional recordings on Blog Talk Radio under Satellite Life Coaching Rebecca Gordon, where you can actually tune in to some additional nuggets of gold in the information that my guests have shared in the time that I've been doing podcasting. So before we go into today's show, as well as thanking my guests, I'd also like to thank the coaching clients who have chosen me, Rebecca Gordon, through my business, my coaching platform of Satellite Life Coaching. They've chosen me to work with, to support them through manoeuvring through life, through overcoming challenges, through to creating and manifesting their vision in this reality. So thank you for trusting the process and for trusting and choosing me to walk with you along this part of your life journey. I've had great clients, all whom I'm very proud of, who've taken up the mantle, they've actually risen to the challenge, and this has resulted in great successes this year. Today, I want to share with you something that's going to help you to kickstart your year. And that's the Self-Exploration 4-week online telecoaching class that starts on the 10th of January. And this is the third time I'll be running this. It's the third round of the Self-Exploration online telecoaching journey. We've had great results. A lot of feedback, which has been fantastic and positive. And in fact, just recently, last week, someone shared with me that she's implemented an action that came out of the teleclass. And it's going to mean that she'll be working with many people and supporting them in the entity that she's setting up. So that's just one fantastic result of many. Now, the online coaching class is £5 per session, which is superb value for money. And it's part of the Black Woman's Voyage. I've set up this particular package for the Black Woman's Voyage because as a Black woman myself, I recognise that on my coaching and personal development journey, there are things that I experience, there are things that I feel, there are things that I'm aware of that because of my experience in this time of my life and through the passage of my ancestors, I can reflect on, I can consider within the bigger, grander scheme of things, which not everyone can relate to. So I recognise that, and I recognise that for many of my sisters, it's very much the same. So this Black Woman's Voyage is an entity set up to serve Black women within that framework. Although the self-exploration 4-week online telecoaching class can also work. I've got a separate package which works generally for anyone who wants to come in and just participate in it from that aspect of general personal development. So if you're interested in either of those avenues and those paths to self-development, please email me on info@satellitelifecoaching.com or call me on 0121 411 9500, where I can give you some further information and you can enrol and sign up on that course. I also want to let you know that if you have been thinking of getting a coach and you're not sure where to start, the place to start is by contacting me to book in a free discovery consultation session. And what that will enable you to do is to explore exactly how coaching can transform your life and shift you from good to exceptional. And I work with people in any area of their life. So it could be relating to finance. I've worked with people to look at getting their finance onto the platform that they want it to be on. It could be parenting. It could be love, your intimate relationships. It could be your social relationships. It could be anything to do with your health, your fitness, your wellness. And I've also worked with many clients on their career development and transitioning from one job to another, and how to actually access and tap into the work that they really want to do. So I've got a lot of experience of working with many people. In fact, I am a professional performance coach, qualified with a distinction. And I'm going to mention that because it's something that I'm really proud of. Way back in 2009 I started this journey formally, because going off to Tanzania and working with young people over there, that and other things led me to realise that this is actually my purpose. So I put everything into developing my coaching, from going through a year-long course, which cost quite a lot of money, into the thousands of pounds. I invested time, I invested money. I worked with people who had real, genuine issues at the time of my training, and all of that has given me a real deep substance, a great foundation to be able to feel confident in how I support people, and using my own experience, my own life experience, and my many transferable skills as a mentor, as a mother, as a coach, and as a manager, to combine all of that using different modals and techniques and tools, which is bringing my teaching skills into that. So there is actually quite a lot that I offer, which is within the coaching package. It's not actually just a conversation. It's very deep. It's a lot more than that. I have worked with over 400 clients on a one-to-one basis, and I've clocked up over 700 coaching hours with clients, helping them to make movements in parts of their life in which they felt stuck. So all of that tells me that I can help you to do what it takes to make the best of 2016 for yourself. And it is important to say, though, that coaching works very well with clients who have the desire. You will want to make some changes in your life. Because working with a coach, when you work with me, you can expect to break through fear. You can expect to rid yourself of complacency. And you can expect to banish procrastination. You can also expect to have an enjoyable journey of our interaction and our collaborative work over anything from 2 to 4 months in the coaching package, where you have consistent support along the way of making that change and turning that corner so you can see the road ahead. Again, it's important to say that coaching is not the right vehicle for anyone who wants to remain the same. It's not the right vehicle for anyone who's not willing to do the work that we do in the safe environment of coaching. So coaching is actually a platform, it's a great launching pad that will catapult you into a great new life. So if what you've heard just now, if it touches you in any way, if you feel, if you sense, if there's something in you that makes you think, actually, it's piquing my interest, I want to find out more, then the first step is to email me on info@satellitelifecoaching.com or call 0121 411 9500, and please put +44 in front of that if you're calling from outside of the UK, or you can access my details through the website www.satellitelifecoaching.com, where you can subscribe for further information. So at the end of the year, at the end of 2015, my very last podcast, I felt it important to really get the message out to you that 2016 is a time for new beginnings. It's actually the time to put into practice all that you know. We can gain knowledge, we can read, we can study, we can learn, but actually at the end of the day, there must be a time for application, because knowledge without action is pointless. So just leaving you with that thought and moving now into the podcast. So we've already said that this time of year is a time of new beginnings and fresh starts. And if you've been thinking about starting your own business, now is the perfect time to get the ball rolling and live your dream. At some stage of your business planning process, no doubt you'll be giving thought to your brand and the best way to build this so that your personality and passion is very much reflected from the outset in your business entity. So today, by tuning in, you will get nuggets of gold in the information that Brand Master, that's my new title for Andrew Akinyede, the Brand Master will share with you some great information that will not only encourage and energize you to start living your dream, it will actually help you to discover what's important to think about when you're building your brand. So Andrew Akinyede, the Brand Master, what he can do is help you shape your vision into the perfect brand. Now, regardless of whether you're starting a business or not, it's well worth tuning into this podcast. And the reason is because if you're alive, which you are because you're listening to this, then everything you do is a demonstration of your brand. Your personal brand, that is. And Andrew does explain more about this in the podcast when he actually says, whether you turn up to work early, or whether you get somewhere on time, how you present yourself, to friends socially. All of that is a message that you send to the world about you. So regardless of whether you're starting a business or whether you have a business or whether, you're looking to actually launch your career, if you are looking to go for a new job, gain new employment, step up on the career ladder, then you will need to go to interviews, and that will also require one to consider the presentation of their brand. So when you tune into the end of this podcast, you will also Find out how to get your free copy of Andrew's personal branding checklist, which is 7 tips to brand yourself like a pro. So, without further ado, get settled down into the coaching lounge, get yourself a drink, get settled for the next hour where the brand master, Andrew Akinyede, will actually impart information that is bound to help you and support you as you move into 2016. The Coaching Lounge. Andrew, welcome to the Coaching Lounge. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me, and I'm really excited about our conversation. So, yeah, it's brilliant.
Likewise, because I have been watching you and looking at some of the things you do, and you are quite a busy man. Tell tell us tell myself and the audience some of the things that you're involved with, please, Andrew.
Okay, well, I'm a graphic designer and digital marketing and branding strategist. So basically, what I do is I help small business owners, freelancers, entrepreneurs. I help them get noticed on various platforms, whether it's social media, whether it's by them building, an online presence or branding their businesses and just helping them get more customers and helping them become more visible. I would say that's what I do.
Mm. And we all need some of that, don't we? If we're a business owner moving into business or a current entrepreneur, it is about visibility and getting yourself out there, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. You can start any business, and it doesn't matter what it is. There's nothing new under the sun. So, the minute you start your business, you're gonna have competition, and the
Right.
only way of getting your fair share of the pie is by getting noticed, and that's what I help people do.
Okay. But here's the thing, Andrew. I do speak to people as a coach who are looking to start business or perhaps have started. And there is this fear of being visible, isn't there? Do you find that with some of the customers you speak with?
Yeah, of course. A lot of people are afraid of putting themselves out there. I mean, you are in quite a vulnerable position when you are a business owner, and especially if you want to be the face of your brand, especially if you want to promote it. There isn't you can't really shy away from the idea of being a public figure. So, as there's a saying that says, "Closed mouths don't get fed," and if you if you're running a business, you've got to be out there, but you don't necessarily have to have your face as the brand. It could be a colleague, it could be your team members, or even you could have a mascot or a digital version or digital avatar of yourself. But the main thing is there has to be a personality behind the brand, and the bottom line is people connect with people. They don't buy businesses, they buy people. So
Absolutely.
you've got to get yourself out there.
Yeah, and the business is, it's the face of you. That's what people recognize, and the brand is so important. But looking at you and your start in being a business owner, looking at your brand, I know you've got an interesting story about how you started in business, Andrew. Can you share that with us, please?
Yeah, of course. I'll try and keep it brief, but I'll just give you a little bit of background info. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. Even since I was a child, I was always buying and selling stuff and thinking of creative ways to make money. And I've always been the creative type. I've always been into arts, produce, just being creative. So whether it was music or drawing or taking photos, I was into a lot of that stuff. And I did the whole thing where I did my GCSEs, did the college thing, did the A levels, went to university, and I've like most people, after graduating, I found myself in a 9 to 5, and I didn't really have much time to think about what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I didn't really have much time to think about my passions and you know doing what I loved. So every day after work, I would sit down and just brainstorm, like, what can I do? What am I good at? And I did a degree in communications, and one of my favorite modules was the graphic design and visual culture and digital graphics, and I think that was what it was called, visual
Hmm.
visual culture and digital graphics.
Right.
And I started to just train myself on Photoshop, and I started to play around with it, and I thought to myself, there's definitely some way I could, make money out of designing stuff for people.
Mm.
So let's fast forward to 2000 and where are we? So let's fast forward to 2008. I'd worked in advertising, B2B publishing, B2C publishing as well, and then I got a job working in a further education college,
Hmm.
and I was, giving advice to students, and I was working within a marketing department, so it was a mixture of marketing and student recruitment. And one there was an event that we had aimed at recruiting 16 to 18-year-olds, and I volunteered to design the flyer.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
then I think that was probably the beginning of Cakebox Creative. So
Right.
they were really impressed with the flyer, and before you know it, word got round that I was designing flyers for the events. The principal
Okay.
liked it. The rest of the marketing department liked it, and they asked me to do more. And then my job slowly turned into, being a graphic designer part time. So
Okay.
it was like a mixed role. So they asked me to do half and half, and then in 2010 I went full time. So that I was designing all the graphics, all
Hmm.
the posters, everything for the college internally. So
So you sort of like created your job, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So I was doing all the internal communication for the college. So it wasn't all of the external facing stuff, but it was
Right.
posters around both campuses. It was
Okay.
flyers, all
Mm.
that kind of stuff. And then a lot of people would come up to me and say, "Can you do this for me? I know someone who wants something designed." I was a little bit reluctant at first, but
Hmm.
I started to do a few paid jobs outside of work, and then
Mm.
I started to brainstorm and think about how I can take this more seriously, and that's when Cakebox Creative was born.
And here we are.
Exactly.
2015, yeah, and fully living your vision, I would say, from that the conception of, what can I do, and getting the ideas. So it's sort of like lined itself up very well, hasn't it, for you?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So Cake Box Creative, cakes, boxes, interesting name. Tell me about how you came across a name. What inspired you to choose that?
Well, when I was brainstorming business names, I wanted something that was from the heart. So I was thinking of names. All I knew was that I wanted to share my gift with the world. So I
Oh,
wrote down the word gift, and then
right.
it reminded me of when I was a child growing up in the 80s. And every year, my mum and dad would get me a birthday cake from Percy Ingle. It would be like a personalized birthday cake, and
Right.
it would always come in a box with a ribbon around it. So when
Oh,
I wrote down the word gift, it reminded me of that, and then I just thought cake box.
yes, yes.
And then it was the alliteration, cake box, and then creative, because the bulk of what I do is creative services. So I
Uh-huh.
just put the two together. I said, you know what, that sounds, it rolls
Yeah.
off the tongue. So I said to myself, I'll stick with it, and
Yeah.
just went from there.
And it's a great name because, like you say, gift, and, everyone likes cakes, I think. And
Yeah,
the
most people, yeah.
yeah, the creativity of it. So, the quote, life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get next. It's sort of like you can imagine with what you do, it's going to be lovely. People will love it. It's going to be tantalizing. So it's a really apt name. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, I just want to talk to you about you for a moment because you've actually you're doing this full time now, aren't you? This is your business that you're focusing on.
Yes, yes, it's
Okay,
been
s-
full time since
right.
July 2014.
Okay, so I'm always intrigued as to what made you, because it's a big, well, I'm going to take back the word big, but in some people's minds, it's quite a leap from having the safety and security of some income coming in from an employed job, from employment,
Yeah.
to moving into, having to find your work yourself and being fully self-employed and entrepreneur. So, first of all, what drove you to move in that direction, and what beliefs did you have that supported you to go for it?
Well, that's a very good question. I would say that there are quite a few things that happened along the way that drove me to making that leap. One of them was when I first started working full time. I didn't have a break from university. It was just straight. As soon as I finished my degree, I was in a job
Hmm.
within 2 weeks, and that was like
Fantastic.
in
Yeah.
2007.
Yeah.
And it occurred to me. I worked in Paddington as an advertising sales exec, and it was very fast paced. Leaving your house at the peak of rush hour, and it just occurred to me that we're all like robots, just
Hmm.
rushing in the mornings, and I did that for like 8 years, six no 7 7 years. I did that for 7 years, and when I had I got married in 2009. I had two young children, and I realized that full time jobs, and kids don't mix because it was really difficult in
Yeah.
terms of childcare and the flexibility of hours. And once I had my two children, it really made me think. And then I stumbled across a network marketing opportunity. So at this point, I didn't even believe that I could go full time because like you said, I wanted that security. I was worried about,
Hmm.
how am I going to cover the bills and stuff like that. And through network marketing, I discovered a lot of personal development stuff, and that was probably one of the most instrumental things in terms of preparing myself and my mindset for going it alone, and understanding that really that sense of security, really it's an illusion.
Mm.
Because there isn't any such thing as a job for life anymore, not in this climate anyway. Back in the industrial age, and as late as the 80s and the 90s, you still had a lot of company loyalty, so you could work for someone for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
you know But now I find that people don't even move upwards anymore; they just move sideways, and there's
Hmm.
lots of redundancies. Technology is making human beings more, disposable,
Hmm.
and
And employers are demanding so much more, aren't they?
exactly. And
Yes.
there's a lot of competition, and I
Mhm.
thought, why not bet on yourself? And
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
invested in myself to that. I believe I have anyway. Invested in myself in terms of building my skill set and self study in addition to my degree. And I thought to myself, if I've got this skill set,
Hmm.
why don't I market it myself, and then have the flexibility to you know to enjoy my family and just enjoy life really on my own terms.
Yeah, so you've actually given yourself a better quality life. And as a business owner myself, I know that there are challenges, but again, it does help to build up a lot of good values and draw from the strength within.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm going to touch a little bit more on a little bit more about yourself and your challenges. But let's just move into branding now, because this is what you do. You're an expert in this, and it's great to have you on board. The question is personal branding, and I've called it personal branding. Why is that important, and how does that connect with business?
Well, personal branding is, I would say, it's the art of differentiating yourself from others in your marketplace. So that's whether it's your values, what you represent, who you intend to serve. It's important to make yourself stand out because, as I said before, there isn't anything new under the sun, and you're gonna have competition no matter what you do, unless you're actually gonna invent something that nobody's ever seen before. You're gonna have to, make yourself inviting to your target audience. So
Mm.
that's why personal branding is important.
Mm. And you've mentioned earlier, you said actually, we spoke about the fear of moving into business. This question here, I mean, looking at your business name, Cakebox Creative, and your website is, what's your website name, Andrew?
Well, my personal blog is andrewakinyede.com, so it's just my name.
Okay.
So
Okay, and you've got Cakebox Creative as a website
yes.
as well. Okay, because this is the question. When I started off, I mean, my business name is Satellite Life Coaching, and I'm the lead coach, the director, the trainer, etc. But there can sometimes be this quandary, and I see a lot of coaches whose brand is their business name, who's actually the brand is their name, rather, sorry, for the business. So, what are your thoughts on having a business name, i.e., Satellite Life Coaching or Cakebox Creative, as opposed to your own name? What rules might there be?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think there are any rules. I just think that you should position yourself as an expert in terms of what you're offering. And when I say
Hmm.
position yourself as an expert, I don't mean position yourself as in as someone who knows everything. I mean position yourself as the go-to person to solve a particular problem. So,
Right.
for example, if you have your business name as, it's different from your personal name, but you have a presence online where you give value, you actually solve problems, you answer people's questions, and it's just you. People can get to know you, and then when you refer to your business, they already know that they're going to be working with you. So it's a lot easier to actually sell yourself than actually sell a logo or a brand. Does that
Mm.
kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yes. I only asked that question because I was following a thread on LinkedIn and someone asked the question. And a response, there were quite a few responses, but one response was actually that corporate companies tend to do business with other business entities in terms of the pay and the work, etc. And yes, individuals can get work, but if you go as an entity, then it might be seen as more attractive. So I just thought, because I've got you online today, I would just ask you, as someone in a position of supporting people, to launch out in branding, what your opinions were and your thoughts. But yes, I hear you, and yes, I do acknowledge what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, but saying that, it really depends on the industry as well. So, and
Right.
it
Yeah.
depends on the size of, like, let's say for example, if you target entrepreneurs and freelancers, it's really different to, let's say for example, you were a B2B manufacturer or a B2B publisher. So it would really depend on,
Hmm.
the sorts of people that you're trying to attract.
Hmm. Hmm. Great. Okay. So let's just talk about branding then. What are some of the mistakes that people make when choosing a brand for their business
um
or for themselves?
I would say not thinking about it or choosing it at all, or just playing it by ear. I mean, it's okay to play it by ear, but you have to have the intention of getting serious one day. So
Yeah.
I'd say not having a plan at all or an
Hmm.
intention to brand yourself, because some people think that branding is a waste of time, or branding is only for big established businesses. But you couldn't be further from the truth, because as I mentioned before, there's a lot of competition out there, and you know it's like there's a fight for attention. you know
Mm.
right
Yeah.
now people's attention spans are shorter than ever, so you've
Hmm.
only got a short amount of time to make an impact, and you've got to do that by standing out. There
Mm.
isn't any other way. You people unfortunately do judge a book by its cover. So
Mm.
I mean, if you can see it in like a supermarket environment, for example, if you've got 10 products on the shelf and there's one product that has some crazy packaging that just looks different to everything else, you're going to walk up to that one first. So even if like it's not exactly what somebody's looking for, you're still going to get the eyeballs, and that's what it's all about. Because you could
Right.
have a great product, you could have a
Hmm.
great service, you could be fantastic at what you do, but if you're not visible, you're nothing more than a well kept secret, and being a secret in business doesn't make you money.
Yes, yes, okay. So, what we are saying here is that it does require a lot of thought. And actually, Stephen Covey's mantra comes in, it's about the end in mind, who your market is, what your ultimate aim is, and then, working towards that. But it could well be that at the start of the business, idea, someone doesn't actually have fully, the concept or the full image, the full picture, to move towards the end in mind. So, how do you help someone stand out from the crowd? And what tips can you offer for that to happen?
Well, I would say start with your mission. So think about what your strengths are, what your unique. I know it's a bit cliche, your unique selling
Hmm.
point, because you can only be so unique in terms of what you're doing. But what is it that would attract potential clients to you? Because we can all do the same thing, but as you mentioned, you said in my podcast, nobody can do what you do like you.
That's right.
You see, so you need to tap into that and figure out what it is that you're best at. And if you can't figure out what you're best at, ask family, ask friends, ask them the simple question: what would you say I'm best at? What do you When you think of me, what springs to mind? That's actually your brand, because your
Great
brand is
questions.
actually what people say about you. It's not Your brand isn't just a logo or your look. Your brand is the feeling and the associations people have when they think of you, your product, your service, your name.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
would start with figuring out what you're best at, or what do you mean to people, and then going from there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it does require, in a sort of way, some soul searching, really. And this is the connection between, when you do what you love, then the money will come. So it is starting from that position about, okay, what am I prepared to stand strong for, really? And I've, just to share with yourself and with the listeners, I mean, I've reached a stage, I've been doing my business now for 5 years, and I've reached a stage, and I would honestly say that that's happened recently, where I feel that I can say, well, actually, this is what I stand for, honestly, fully 110%. And I'm prepared to actually, if it's going to create waves or if it's going to create challenges or if people want to question what I do, I stand fully by this. And for me, it's about being courageous, really, to set yourself up as being different to other people and to declare that and to stand by it. And that feels strong for me.
Yeah, you know what, I agree wholeheartedly in what you're saying. That's very important. You've got to have confidence in yourself as well. And I mean, for those that are just starting out and they don't necessarily have that confidence, it's something that does take time. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to just start and be confident in everything you're doing. It's a process, and you have
Mm.
to allow your business to unfold and evolve. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't have a plan. So I would say, start with a plan and a mission statement. Define who you are, what your talents are, who you intend to serve. That's really important. Um, and here's one secret nugget. Although it's your business, it's not really about you. It's about the people you'll be serving.
Absolutely. I really, I'm so glad you've said that, because, I'm not sure what people will think about this statement, but I'm going to say anyway. When I watch social media, when I see, different businesses and different people doing business, it very much seems like it's about you, when actually, it could be a product or a service, it is about the person who's going to be your customer. So I feel sort of like the energy of authenticity does rest very much with it's not about you, it's about who you're going to assist along their journey.
Absolutely. It's all about building a tribe of people that can vouch for you, because without social proof, you see, this is a very key nugget when it comes to personal branding or any type of branding. If you don't have a tribe of people that can say, yes, this person is great at this, I had an excellent result, it was a great experience, you can say, you can I mean, you can talk about how good you are all day,
Hmm.
but it doesn't
Hmm.
have as much impact as when other people say good stuff about you.
Mm.
Usually, we struggle through life alone, with outdated beliefs and self-sabotaging actions that bring the same results. How different would it be if you had a personal success coach who helped you make the shift and create a plan for happiness? You will fearlessly align your values, achieve important goals, and reframe your perspective when you have coaching with me. Email Rebecca at info@satellitelifecoaching.com. Book your free discovery session and change your life.
You've mentioned the tribe and building the tribe. Social media does get me a bit frazzled, from time to time. It's sort of like, I found that there are some quick and easy ways to manage, what you're doing on social media. But I think I learned the hard way. So how, if someone is trying to build a tribe and getting their brand out there, how does one manage social media effectively?
Well, I would say do what you can, but when you do it like be 100% with it, because there is a balance between actually working your business and spending all day on social media.
Hmm.
So I would say
Yeah.
have a strategy, and again refer back to the people you're going to be serving, and think about it from their point of view. So I'll give you an example. Some people will come online and their end goal is to make a sale, okay, or to get a new client, and they'll come on social media and they'll say, I do X, Y, and Z. Go to my website and book yourself in for an appointment, or buy this, buy my product. Rather than doing that, it would be more effective to join groups, like for example on Facebook or LinkedIn, where you're going to be in front of the type of people you want to serve, and just ask questions, find out what their problems are, and then think of a creative way to present your product or service as the solution to their problems. But you have to build relationships, so you have to go through this process. It's not something I've coined, but know, like, and trust.
Hmm. Hmm.
Know, like, and trust. People buy from those they know, like, and trust. So you start a conversation, you let them get to know you, right? So
Hmm.
and then the next thing you'll do is you'll get them to like you. So providing valuable content for free, helping them out with their problems, recommending stuff that will solve their problems, but not necessarily, you're not selling to them. You're acting as an advisor. So now
Hmm.
they like and they trust you and they know you. So then you can, take that conversation to a different level. So in order to so basically to answer your question with social media, I would say have a strategy where you take people off of you have a conversation on social media and take that conversation off social media maybe perhaps on email, or you build an email list. That's a very good way of building relationships with people off of social media. And then you can really start to use social media in a smart way and make yourself stand out, because the average person will, use social media as a broadcasting system. It's not a one to many sort of communication model. It's something where people expect to be able to interact with you without being sold to. It's social
Yeah.
media. It's not selling media. It's social media. So there is a
Right.
fine line.
Yes, yes. I had Mr. Marketology on a few months ago, and he mentioned the very same thing. And it is also about the discipline and consistency, isn't it? So it's sort of like, it takes, just to say to you, actually, I remember one woman who became a coaching client. She said to me, I've been watching you for 8 months to a year, and I'm only just ready, to come forward now because I've been watching you, seeing what you're doing, and now I need the support. So it is about the consistency as well, and not expecting, things to happen immediately in terms
Definitely.
of feedback sometimes. What would you say to that?
Definitely. It's all about building a pipeline. I'll be honest with you, that's something I've struggled with along my journey as well. The consistency being on social media, because you can only, when you're doing everything by yourself, when I say doing everything by yourself, I mean like you are doing most of the business
Yes.
yourself. So, for example, me as a graphic designer, I do the design myself. I
Hmm.
might get a photographer to help me to create images on a specific project, but for me, I do most of the stuff apart from the
Mm.
accounting and maybe answering the phone.
Yeah.
Now, you've got to build an email list, because it is very tough to constantly be on social media unless you've got help.
Hmm.
But once you have an email list, you can put automation
Hmm.
into practice. So
Yes.
you could write 10, 20, 30 emails and put it in your autoresponder, and those the content of those emails will be, the purpose will be to serve the people that you
Mm.
intend to serve. So answering their
Yeah.
questions about a particular topic, their
Mhm.
objections on buying a specific product, addressing their anxieties, their fears, and of course, giving them a way to buy your product or service, or to sign up with your coaching practice of or whatever it is that you're selling. So give value, give a call to action. So you can do that by taking people off of social media and putting them onto your email list, so you actually have control of that. So
Mhm.
that way you're not so overwhelmed. You can still get to work inside your business while that's ticking away in the background.
Just before we go for a break, Andrew,
Yeah, yeah,
just to say, actually, I do share what you've said because coaching, only I can coach the clients. I have to write the reports because it's confidential, and I might have someone helping with a website or making a flyer and so forth. But there is a challenge sometimes with keeping that consistency going. But that is one of the things that I think we're both saying to anyone listening to this who's starting the business or doing the business and wanting to know what works. One of the things is just keep on and keep on.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. And one of the beauties is that, yes, consistency, discipline, but it's also nice to know that you can build in your break times
Yes.
and build in your down times and just have that control where you can re-energize and revitalize because those are the fun times, aren't they, Andrew?
Do you know what? I love it. I love it, because they were. I mean, a lot of people get worried when it goes quiet and they might not know what to do. But those are the crucial times that you can use to build content that will work for you while you're not even working. So it's a good idea to take advantage of that downtime to produce and create.
Okay. So, my name is Rebecca Gordon, and I'm in the coaching lounge with Andrew Akinyede, who is the graphic designer and creative artist behind Cakebox Creative. We are just going to take a short break, and when we return, we're going to discuss with Andrew a little bit more about what he has to offer, how he can help you, talk about his challenges, and talk a bit more about developing a business and brand. So don't go away, stay tuned. We'll be back on the other side in a few moments.
Relax in the coaching lounge and engage with compelling, motivational speakers. Be prepared to transform your inner world to shape your outer world through empowering discussions. Tune into thecoachinglounge.co.uk now.
My name is Rebecca Gordon, and I am the lead life coach at Satellite Life Coaching. I have with me in the coaching lounge Mr. Andrew Akinyede, who is sharing with us some information about branding for your business, about personal branding. And at this moment, Andrew, I sort of want to sidestep, if you like, because you've mentioned branding. It's about you, about what you stand for, about what you offer to your clients, it's about who you are. For someone who does not have a business, and because we have lots of people listen to the coaching lounge, and if you don't have a business, perhaps you're employed or perhaps you're not employed, perhaps you're doing something else, I would like you to share what makes it important to still consider your own personal brand regardless of business.
Okay, so regardless of whether you're an entrepreneur or not, you can still be entrepreneurial about your career, even if you're not an entrepreneur. So, what I mean by that is taking responsibility for your personal brand and how you can maximize potential opportunities by making yourself visible. So, we're in the digital age, so take advantage of the tools that we have. For example, LinkedIn is a great way to, develop your personal brand. So even if you don't have a business, if you have a great LinkedIn profile, that will help you get more opportunities at work. If you have a blog, you don't need to, have a business to have a blog. You should blog about your expertise because you have something that you're passionate about, something that you're good at, something that you should be recognized at work for. And what you want to do is let as many people as possible know that that is your expertise and that you can help people with whatever skill you possess. So that might be a potential employee, sorry, that might be a potential employer looking at your blog or a potential employer looking at your LinkedIn status, pointing to your blogs, you know. So that's one way of, using your personal brand online. A second way is understanding that, as I mentioned before, your brand is what people say about you. So, for example, are you late for work all the time? Or are you punctual? Are you pleasant? Or are you nasty? Those are things that are part of your brand. So if you're punctual, you're enthusiastic about your work, you're driven, those things are assets to you, and you need to let people know what you stand for. And by making yourself visible, networking, going to networking events, having a very strong LinkedIn profile. I'll talk about that in a second, how you can make your LinkedIn profile stronger and attract more opportunities. Having a blog where you talk about your skill set, your industry, sharing your expertise and your opinions, that will attract people to you because people want to work with people they know, like, and trust. Like I said before, so you're just allowing yourself to build that know, like, and trust factor. But if you kind of stay in the corner and don't want to get noticed, then you're going to let a lot of opportunities pass you by, and people who are willing to step out there and be known for their skills, those people will get all the opportunities.
So it's almost as if you're always on duty, really, you know.
Of course,
And
we're
yeah,
being watched
and
all the time.
that's right, you know. So if you do go for a job, you apply for a job, you know, it just takes a Google, and someone can find out a lot, you know,
Exactly.
about the individual. So I think really, perhaps you're saying to be purposeful, you know,
Exactly.
be
Exactly.
on purpose, you know, regardless of whether you're thinking of starting a business or it's just you and you're sojourning through life. Do it with purpose.
Exactly. So just to
Okay.
quickly go on to the example I was going to give about LinkedIn, a good thing to do would be to have a list of all your skills. So you need to let people know what you have because they're not going to know unless you talk about it. So there's a section in LinkedIn where you can list your skill sets, your qualifications, and another thing is try and get as many endorsements and testimonials as you can. So if you work with someone on the project, connect with them on LinkedIn, you know, reciprocate as well. Leave good feedback for the other person as well, and ask them to do the same for you. So if you can build up testimonials, endorsements, um, build up your number of contacts, share content that's relevant to your industry, give your opinions, then you'll start to, rank higher amongst your connections, and you'll be exposing yourself to more opportunities.
Hmm. Okay, excellent. There's some great tips here and strategies. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, so let's just talk about the challenges that come, you know, along the way. Can you share with us, please, some of the business challenges that you've had and how you've overcome them?
Okay, so business challenges. I'd say number one was thinking at times that I wasn't good enough. So that's something that I struggled with in the beginning. So comparing myself to others that had, they might be 3 or 4 chapters ahead of me in their journey. So it's all about understanding that it's a process and that you need to allow yourself to grow and, take things in your own stride. And everyone's progress is different, but you've got to understand that there is no such thing as overnight success. So
Mhm.
one thing I struggled with in the beginning was believing that I was good enough, but over time and with personal development and watching other people and listening to their stories, seeing understanding that I mean the people that I respect and admire, they had their hardships in the beginning as well, and it's normal, and
Mm,
there's nothing wrong with feeling like that. It's okay to feel like
yes.
that, and just acknowledging that and just keeping on anyway. So I
Yeah,
mean, it's
yeah.
normal. So that's
Mm,
one way to get your head around it. Just understand that it will
yeah.
happen. You will have imposter syndrome. You will feel like you're an imposter sometimes. Or who am I to be? Who am I to own my own business? Who am I to give advice? But at the end of the
Mm,
day, in life, there's always going to be people behind you, and there's always going to be people in front of you, and you just
that's
need to be
right.
okay with that.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually self-acceptance, isn't it? Self-acceptance, and as you said, belief in yourself. But it's like the quote that Nelson Mandela. I can't remember the full quote, but it's, you know, with what you've said, it's who are you not to? You know, it's about not looking for anyone else to validate who you are and just believing in yourself. And, you know, it does take some work sometimes. And that's why you could work with a personal coach who can support you.
One thing I would add is you can't do it on your own. You
Mm,
need a coach, you need a mentor,
hmm.
even if you're not in the same country as them. You
Yes,
even if
yes.
you'd never meet them, I mean,
Yeah.
you can have coaching sessions over Skype. You can join membership programs, digital membership programs. There's lots of things that you can do, but you do need that support of a coach, so that
Yeah,
sometimes you can't, when you're in the forest, you can't you can't see what's around you. It takes someone out on
absolutely.
the outside to look in and say, here's where you're going wrong, here's what you need
Mm,
to adjust.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
The sessions I've had with my own coach come to mind, at some of those critical times when actually I could have thrown it all in and, just given up. But one thing I do fall back on when those times do come around, you know, when you do that, it's just like you're turning the corner. And if you just keep going, keep going, keep going, then, eventually you will actually see the way ahead. So
Absolutely.
it's about, drawing upon the value there of determination and perseverance, really.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
one more thing, I mean, we're so blessed in this digital age to have access to things like this podcast, where this is in effect a coaching session, you know?
Hmm.
If you're listening
Yes.
to this on your way to work, if you're working in your business and you're feeling like, you're stuck, I mean, when you listen to inspirational podcasts like this, um, you can really use that to your advantage because the support is there. And there's
Mm.
communities online that go with the podcast, and you can
Hmm.
comment on the blogs and ask questions. I mean, people are more kind than you realize. There's always someone that will reach out on the other end as well.
Very true, very true. And actually, on the point of podcasts, I've been a guest on your podcast series. Can you share more about that, please?
Yeah, it's the Life and Design podcast, and that's what I do is essentially help you create a more delicious life, brand, and business. So I focus on those three things: your life, your brand, your business. And by no means is my life perfect. So that's why I call on guests like Rebecca, like yourself, and other people who are, they run their own business. They're doing something creative. I call on those people to talk about their experiences, their hardships, their triumphs, to inspire as many people as possible into, following their own dream. And also, I do talk about how to brand yourself, how to get out there, how to get more exposure,
Hmm.
and ways to build your business online. So yeah,
Mm.
that's what I talk about in the podcast.
Okay, you've just mentioned something there that I'd like us to explore and discuss, really. I think it's really important what you've said. You said actually, by no means am I perfect. By no means am I, Rebecca, perfect. By no means is, everyone perfect. And that is important because we actually sometimes think that what we do has to be perfect, and that just puts the stops on straight away, doesn't it? And
Absolutely.
yeah, for me, I feel actually I like to see, I like to work with someone who declares, actually, I don't have all the answers, I'm not perfect, because actually you're real and,
Exactly. Yeah.
you're learning, just as much as anyone else. And I really do get a great buzz from that. So I think that's worthwhile sharing. Can you talk a bit more about that, please?
About the idea of stopping yourself from doing something because you think it has to
Well,
be perfect, or
Well, you can talk about that, but I think it's about the perfectionism, isn't it? Really, and I do remember one woman I spoke to. It was a case of, oh, I haven't got that set up yet. I haven't done that. I haven't done that. Can't do my business cards,
yeah,
And it was a case of actually, like you said before, it's evolving.
yes, yes, yes.
So how does someone get past the point of it has to be perfect and just work with what you've got? What can you share with us, please?
Okay, I would say it's all in your mind, really, because if you were to look at the structure of a business that's established, even if you wanted to do everything in one day, and if you wanted to make it perfect, you would never achieve it anyway. So it's impossible to be perfect because you can't please everybody. And someone, even if you think it's perfect, somebody is going to say, well, no, well, that's there's something wrong here, or there's something wrong
Right.
there. So I say, just relax and understand that you can't please everybody all of the time,
Hmm.
and just get behind your vision with passion, with conviction, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Mm. Fantastic, fantastic stuff.
And don't let for example, I'll give you an example. A lot of people, including myself in the past, kind of you kind of stop yourself because you don't have all the necessary resources. And I say, make the resources yourself, or
Hmm.
find a creative way around it. Use your skills to the best of your ability, and just work with what you have, and you will be surprised what. I know it sounds a bit woo woo, but I think the universe will conspire to get you the resources that you need. I just
Absolutely.
say start with where you are,
Great.
because the right time never comes.
That is so true. Yes, that's a great message. Yeah. And it's about the journey, isn't it? It's about the experiences, what you learn about yourself, what you gather along the way. All that matters. And I mean, you might share this as well. It's also about, you talk about branding and so forth. It's about what, we show about who we are, in that respect as well. I think that's important too.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So, Andrew, you run workshops and go to school assemblies,
Well, I haven't done that many school like I haven't done that many workshops. It's
but
something
you've
I
done
want to,
some.
yeah,
That's what matters.
yeah. It's something
Yeah.
I'm looking to expand on in the new year. But most of my stuff is actually going to be online by way of webinar. But there will be some dates in the new year
Right.
that I will be running some joint workshops.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you can find out more about that on my email list and on my blog as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, who inspires you?
Good question. Um, I'm one of those people that I'm inspired by everybody. I'm inspired by it could be the person down the road. You don't have for me. I'm not one of those people who are only inspired by celebrity or people that most people would regard as special or talented. I'm inspired by everybody that's just um, you know doing what they need to do, hustling and living their truth, being true to themselves. But just to give you an example of some people that I follow in my space that kind of inspire me to do what I do, I would say Vince Reed is one of the people that inspires me a lot. He's internet marketing specialist, and I'm also part of his coaching program as well. I would say Ben Martin, another person he's played a big part in me getting to where I am now. He gave me. I'll tell you a very very short story. He actually gave me the confidence to start doing video because, like most people, I hate myself on camera. Although I do YouTube videos, but I hated myself on camera. I just hated the way I looked. I just wasn't confident. And I was part of his coaching program, and he set a challenge to do one video a day for 90 days. So
Mm.
I said to myself, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I did my first 4 videos, and I was like, Ben, I really don't like videos. I can't do this. I said, Ben, just watch my video. And his feedback was this. He said, Andrew, you're awesome. Keep
Wow.
doing videos. You come
Yeah.
across really well on videos. And I was like, what?
Hmm.
No way.
I would absolutely agree with that. I've seen some of your videos.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. But
Yeah.
it just goes to show that we are our own worst critics, and sometimes it can be easy to just be really hard on yourself. But I say if you've got something to do, even though you're afraid, just do it, and you'll be surprised at the results. And that's what
Okay.
most entrepreneurs. That's how they get through anyway. Every person that you see that inspires you or is successful, they've all got their own fears, their own insecurities, and their own hang-ups. But they do it anyway. That's the difference between
Mm.
someone who can actually be successful and someone who, not
Hmm.
necessarily that they don't have what it takes, but someone who's going to give up. They might not have that in them,
Mm.
that thing that tells them to just carry on despite being afraid.
Yeah.
It's all about courage.
Courage is a beautiful word. I love that. Yeah, being courageous. There is a quote that I came across actually, and it's based on what you said just now. Anyone can do it, but you can decide to get it done.
Powerful,
Yeah,
powerful. Yeah.
yeah, yes. Okay. So we're just coming down to the end of the interview here now. Great interview. So glad that you've been able to join me here in the coaching lounge, Andrew. Let's talk about life lessons. What's been your greatest life lesson to date?
Can I say two?
Oh, yes, go for it. Thank you.
Always be humble, because you could reach great heights. I've seen it before, and even in a professional sense or a personal sense of achievement, you can seem to have it all, but you can be humbled just as much just by circumstances beyond your control. So I say always be humble, and
Mm.
second of all, never give up. If you want something, if you believe you can do something, never give up, because if you could fail 100 times, it might be the 101st attempt and you get it right.
And that's a great, two great life lessons there. And I think they are worth reflecting on, really. And this is what makes life, isn't it? I mean, we can live mundane lives, we can just do the same thing day in and day out. But those two principles, I think, especially when you want to go for something, they are great motivating factors, great life lessons. And you've learned from those experiences.
Absolutely. So many times I've seen it manifest in my not just my life, but in other people's lives. So definitely the thing about never giving up, because I can break it down to something as basic as I might be working on a client's website and they'll ask for something that I haven't done before,
Mm.
and I'm tweaking the code. I've run the website, it's not working. Go back, change it again. Is it going to work this time? No, it's not working. But I just keep going, and every time I think, should I give up? Should I just not do it? Should I just suggest something else? A couple more tries, and I've got it to work.
You've got it. Yeah,
Same thing
great.
with it. It could be anything. It could be, passing your driving test. You might think, oh, I'm going to go for it, fail it the first time, fail it the second time, fail it the third time, to the point where you think, can I actually do this? I probably can't do this. This probably isn't for me. But just remember to never give up. It will happen for you. If you're
Mm,
determined enough, it will happen for you.
it will
There's
happen
there's
for
no
you.
guarantees of when, but as long as you have the capacity, you're alive, and you have that physically, you can actually do that thing. It will happen for you. It's just about patience.
Okay. So, quote from Andrew Akinyede, it will happen for you. Know it and believe it. So, Andrew, why should someone choose to work with you to develop their business brand?
Well, first of all, I would say, because of the way I think of my clients, I think of my clients as not just business owners or businesses. I think of them as people, and I I really pride myself on solving people's problems and meeting them exactly where they're at, not just taking their money from a business standpoint. Two reasons. If I work with you and you're successful, your success is my success. So it's in my best interest to help as many people as possible get the results that they need. So when it comes to getting noticed or building a professional, enticing looking brand on a startup budget, that's what I do best.
Mm. And your website, it's clean, it's fresh, it's modern, it's vibrant, it's fantastic, actually.
Thank you.
So please check out Andrew Ekinyede's websites. Can you share those details with us, please?
Yeah, you can go to my website for Catebox Creative at cateboxcreative.co.uk. So if you're interested in taking the visual side of your brand to the next level, or even discovering your visual brand, then that's something I can help you with. And on the my personal blog is at andrewakinyede.com, and I've got a little freebie to give away that you can have
Fantastic.
for
Yeah.
the your listeners out there, and that's the personal branding checklist. So I
Mm-hmm.
give like seven, I think, is it seven? Let me just double check. Yeah, 7 tips to
Mm-hmm.
brand yourself like a pro. So I give that away for free. It's a free download. You can get that by going to andrewakinyede.com/branding pro.
Absolutely fantastic. Andrew Akinyede, it's been a great pleasure to have a lovely conversation with you in the Coaching Lounge. Thank you for sharing all this great, fantastic information with us.
Thank you.
Um,
Thanks for having
and
me.
you're welcome. Just before we depart, what's next for you?
What's next for me? I'm currently in the process of launching a course, a digital program that will help. Basically, it's exactly what I talk about. You know, getting yourself out there. It's called Cakebox Academy. So basically, I'm going to be showing people how to brand themselves effectively, communicate effectively, and also get eyeballs on your your website, build your online presence, and drive massive traffic to whatever it is that you're doing. So that will be the digital marketing side of it will be the where I show you how to drive traffic. So how to get people off of Facebook. So a lot of people focus on getting likes, for example. I will help you turn those likes into clients.
Right, okay. So, a great digital course to look out for. You can contact Andrew on his website, Cakebox Creative. And Andrew, I've given you the label. I've just written it down here. Brand master.
Thank you.
So if you want to work with a brand master, get some information on how to brand yourself like a pro, and getting the 7 tips from Andrew's branding checklist, please check him out. Andrew Akinyede, thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
The Coaching Lounge. Take your place in the Coaching Lounge. Be inspired by discussions with motivational guests, compelling speakers, key people of influence, and models of success. Learn unique processes, strategies, and tips that will transform your life. Tune into previous episodes on www.thecoachinglounge.co.uk. Like our page on Facebook via The Coaching Lounge. Follow us on Twitter @Satellite Coach. Thank you for joining your host, Rebecca Gordon, in The Coaching Lounge. Tune in, relax, engage, and transform your life now.